Ellie. I seen him first.
You did not. I seen him first.
I seen him.
I did.
Will one of you please tell me?
I'll toss you first.
No, you won't. I'll tell you. There. Now I get to tell. What's all the racket out here?
Ellie's about to tell me who she just seen.
Who, Ellie? The fellow that saw Paul Central Park. Honest John Schaefer.
Well, doggy.
You mean that Honest John is right here in Beverly Hills?
Yes, ma'am.
The most exciting news of the whole year. And that lummox lays there half asleep. Get up, lazy bones. Ellie just seen Honest John Schaefer.
Granny, I seen him too. I was driving the truck.
Did you stop and talk to him?
No,
we
sir, we
couldn't.
didn't.
You tell him, Ellie. No more tossing.
Couldn't stop on account of the traffic. And by the time we drove around the block, he was gone.
We've got to find him.
That's the truth. Finest man I ever run into.
Salt of the earth.
He sure deserves that name, Honest John. He sold me Central Park, Statue of Liberty, Staten Island Ferry, Brooklyn Bridge, Empire State Building, and the Algonquin Hotel, all for $10,000.
That's what I call a real bargain.
Then he turned around and gave you your money back.
I'll never forget our leave taking there in Central Park. What we're trying to say, Honest John, is that you're just about the nicest fellow we ever met. We're proud to know you.
Well, I gotta get going. Well, so long.
Oh, wait, here comes Granny. She'll want to tell you goodbye.
Goodbye. Is Honest John leaving?
Yeah, Granny. He's got to go to Chicago.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's been so nice knowing you. Take care of yourself, young fella.
Yeah, I will. Swell. Well, so long.
God bless you, son.
Look, folks, I got no use for this money. I mean, what's a few thousand for somebody like me? I'm loaded.
Well, I got plenty myself.
Give it to the Indians at the Algonquin.
He's one of nature's noblemen.
Well, leastwise we know he's here in Beverly Hills.
I sure wish we knowed where.
What do you want?
I'm looking for Flo Schaefer.
She moved to Australia.
Flo, it's me, Shifty.
Shifty, baby!
Oh, son.
What's the matter? The police got a tail on you?
No, just supposed to have it. Gee, it's good to see you again, you floozy.
It's good to see you, you louse.
Wedding ring? It's gone? Finally got a divorce, oh well. I can't blame you.
Are you kidding? Me divorce you? Never. I love you.
Oh, where's the ring?
I hocked it.
What'd you get?
$10.
Well, it's a clear profit. I stole it.
Oh, Shifty. We were such a great team. What split us up?
Your mother? Where is the old bat?
Please, honey. Mother's gone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. She'll be out in 6 months.
Look, honey, sit down. Something I gotta tell you, and I don't know how you're gonna take it.
Sounds serious.
It is. It's the toughest confession I ever had to make, and I know you're gonna hate me.
Shifty, I could never hate you. So you met a younger, prettier girl. You married her. You're a bigamist. So what? I forgive you.
No.
You didn't marry the girl. That's even worse. Don't worry about it. I still love you.
That's not it.
You've joined a mob. Gambling, girls, dope, rackets, everything. Relax, you're still my man.
That isn't it, honey.
Then what? Tell, baby.
Flo, I've gone straight. I've turned honest.
You dirty rat! Don't you touch me, you rat, you swine!
Baby, you don't...
Now I want a divorce.
Sweetheart.
You'll just be glad that Mother isn't here. She'd beat you to a pulp.
No! Let me at least tell you how it happened. What turned me honest?
I don't want to hear that kind of talk. Makes my flesh crawl. Get out!
Angel.
Get out! I can't stand the sight of you.
Oh, please, none of my friends will speak to me since I've turned honest.
Who can blame them? You're sick.
I know it, baby, and I need help.
Go to a head shrinker.
What? Can I go to a head shrinker and say, make me a crook?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe I can help you shake off this terrible hang-up.
I know you can, dear. I know you can. Because you're so completely rotten.
Thanks, doll. Yours did have a way with words.
Sure hope they find Honest John.
And fetch him home to stay with us.
Be honored to have a man like that under our roof.
He's a living saint.
I hope he ain't forgot about it.
They were rubes, hicks, yokels, pigeons to be plucked.
And millionaires?
Ah, it was beautiful. The perfect setup. For openers, I sold them Central Park.
You're kidding.
And collected the money in cash. Right there in the park.
Well, doggy, there's some big ones in there. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I still got me some walking around money.
Well, what do you say we get up and walk around a little? Before I was through, I sold them half of New York. Had the dough in my pocket and a plane ticket to Chicago.
So what happened?
What happened? They got to me.
How?
Well, they're so kind, so sweet, so trusting, so honest, so sincere.
Stop that kind of talk. That's disgusting.
And anyway, that's when I went wrong.
Honey, there's only one way to cure your sickness. You gotta find those hillbillies and take them.
I'm no match for them, Flo. They're too honorable, too loving, too warm, too tender, generous, trusting.
Not again. I'm gonna make you wash your mouth out with soap.
Maybe I can con somebody else, but...
It's gotta be those hillbillies. As my father used to say, if you fall off a horse, you gotta get back on and ride that same horse again.
And he should know. He was the greatest jockey ever to throw a race.
Now, hop on a plane, go to New York, and do as I tell you.
Okay, if I... Wait a minute. They're here. They live here.
In Beverly Hills?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Find them, fool them, fleece them, and forget them.
I'll do it for you, Flo. I'll lie, I'll cheat, I'll steal, I'll con them out of every penny they got.
That's the way to talk, champ.
You know what I'll do? I'll show them no mercy. I'll be cruel, ruthless. I'll leave them starving and destitute. I'll destroy them. I'll be an absolute beast.
How can you help but love a doll like that?
You know why I'm back? Just made my first heist.
Oh, wonderful. Who'd you clip?
You, here's your necklace.
Beautiful, Shifty. Beautiful.
The earrings I'll keep.
Did the young'uns fetch Honest John home?
Not yet, but I see you're ready for him.
Well, he always did admire my appearance, Jed. Couldn't get over how young I looked. He was well named, Honest John.
True. I just thought of an idea how we might get in touch with him.
Good.
Remember what close friends he was with the New York police?
They met him at the airport and took him to the station to visit with them.
And they fetched him Central Park in their own car.
Remember, we're giving you 24 hours. So long, pals. Call me anytime. Thanks for the lift. Glad to see you, Mr. Clampett.
What did that policeman mean?
What did you hear?
Well, he said they was going to give you 24 hours.
Oh, that, yes. Well, you see, ordinarily, New York closes promptly at 9 p.m. Lights out. However, Due to my influence, I have persuaded the police to leave the city open for 24 hours so that you may see it at night.
Not a fact.
Times Square, Broadway, 42nd Street. All the famous thoroughfares will be lit up just for you.
He sure kept his promise.
That night when we flew out of New York, I never seen so many bright lights in my born days.
That's our plan to locate him. If he's that friendly with the New York police, chances are he's got some friends in uniform out here.
Good thinking, Jed.
So I'm going to call the station and ask them, have they seen Honest John Schaefer?
Honest John!
Ellie Mae!
Oh, I'm not Ellie Mae. I'm Granny.
Oh, I'll have to take your word for it. To me, you're identical twins. It's good to see you.
Well, Honest John, this is a great pleasure.
The pleasure is mine, dear friend. Ah, how often I thought of those wonderful times we had together in New York.
You know, I still feel bad about you giving the money back for all that real estate that we bought from you.
Tut, forget it. Our friendship transcends mere money.
Well, that may well be, but I'd like you to have...
Something wrong, Jed?
I lost my walking around money.
Could this be it?
Where did you get that?
I found it outside on the stoop.
Oh, is Jethro back?
No, dear friend, I meant the little porch out front.
Doggies, I must have lost it when I was out there pumping my grinding wheel.
Well, here you are, safe and sound.
Anybody but Honest John would have kept it.
That's the truth. Matter of fact, I'd like him to keep it.
Well, I wouldn't think of it, dear friend.
Well, then by rights, Central Park and all them other things still belongs to you.
Oh, well, I'll donate that to the city of New York so that everyone may enjoy them free.
You hear that, Granny?
The man's got a heart as big as all outdoors.
Which reminds me, I brought you a little gift.
Oh, Jed, look. Beautiful earrings.
They belong to my mother.
Man's paying you a great honor, Granny.
I'm afraid I'm going to bawl.
No tears. This is a happy occasion, a joyous reunion.
You're right. I'll go out to the kitchen and put on some coffee.
All right.
Well, Honest John, what brings you to Los Angeles?
I'm here to perform a service for humanity.
Well, that figures, but what is it?
Mr. Clampett, what would you say is the greatest problem facing the citizens of this community?
Well, I'd have to say it was the smog.
The smog. Precisely why I'm here, the smog.
You like it?
Oh, no. I have a plan to get rid of it.
Well, that sure would be a great blessing.
Well, I plan to drill an enormous shaft through the San Bernardino Mountains, install a huge fan, and draw the smog away.
That's likely to cost a heap of money.
I have pledged my wealth, my sacred honor, to the completion of this humanitarian project.
And if I know you, you will haul off and give the whole thing to the city of Los Angeles.
Well, I plan to spread it around. Los Angeles will get the mountains. Burbank and Pasadena will get the giant fan.
Who's going to get the shaft?
Glad you asked me.
Wouldn't you know that this blessed saint of a man sitting here is the man that's going to get rid of the smog for us?
Ain't it going to cost you a fortune to drill that big hole through the mountain?
The fan alone took all of my cash resources, but I'll raise more.
Why don't you let me chip in some?
Jed's got better than 90 million laying in the bank.
No, please. I'll raise the money. I'll sell my war medals, my Nobel Peace Prize. And as a last resort, I could always get $20 a pint for my blood.
I can't let you do that, Honest John.
Please, let Jed help you.
I do hate to part with my war medals.
What do you figure it'll cost to finish up the job?
$15, $20 million?
Well, I'll just call Mr. Drysdale and have him write you out a check for $20 million.
Yeah, no checks.
Why not?
Well, names must appear on checks, and people find out who their benefactor is, and charity is only beautiful when it's anonymous.
Anon what?
Anonymous. Unknown. That's why I'm financing this entire project in cash.
Well, I know from experience that Mr. Drysdale don't keep $20 million in cash in his bank, but I'll get you what he's got.
No, please, forget it. He'll ask questions. You'll have to tell him what it's for. The secret will be out in The whole project will lose its charm and beauty.
I don't have to tell him nothing. It's my money.
You do make it hard for me to say no.
I won't take no for an answer. You wait right here. I'll be back in a flash with the cash.
Well, here it is, Mr. Clampett. This is all the cash in the bank that could be spared at this time. It's more than $500,000.
Thank you, Miss Dean. I reckon that ought to get us started.
Us? What us? Who's us?
Sorry, Mr. Drysdale, I just can't tell you.
Well, at least you can tell me what you're going to do with it.
I done explained to you this is a secret project.
Oh, no.
Mr. Drysdale, don't behave like that.
Unless you tell me what it's for, you're not taking one penny of my money.
This is Mr. Clampett's money. He has a right to withdraw it.
Well, yes, but make him tell me what he's going to do with it, please.
Mr. Clampett, perhaps you could tell him just enough to alleviate his suffering. I'm afraid he's having acute withdrawal symptoms.
Well, I reckon it wouldn't do no harm to say that this money's going to be used for drilling.
Drilling? Where?
I don't believe I better say no more.
Then I'm not letting go.
Shame you.
Mr. Drysdale, you promised to keep it an absolute secret.
May interest rates drop.
For him, that is a sacred oath.
All right. It's the San Bernardino Mountains, and that's all I'm going to say.
Oh. Oh. That old mountain gold is found all again. Call my real estate broker. Have you start buying up the San Bernardino Mountain.
Miss Jane says there's better than $500,000 in there. Of course, I ain't counted it.
Who cares? If we can't trust one another, where's the joy of life?
Mr. Schaefer!
See, Granny? I told you I could bomb him with brainwaves and ESP him here.
Hiya, Jethro.
Gee, it's sure good to shake your hand again.
I see you still have the grip of a gorilla.
Yeah, but our brains ain't the same.
Oh, that's all right, Jethro. Yours will do. Well, must be all friends.
What's in the sack?
Better than $500,000 in cash?
And you know what Honest John is going to do with it? He's going to commence getting rid of our smog.
Hey, that's great.
Isn't that wonderful?
There's only one way to put it. The man is a living saint. Bless you, Honest John.
And thank you for saving all the little critters and birds.
And thank you for saving the young'uns and old folks that couldn't hardly breathe no more.
And the trees and the flowers are dying air pollution. They thank you, too.
Well, tell them they're welcome. Well, I'll be gone now.
Jethro, heft that money on the truck and take Honest John wherever he wants to go.
Yes, sir, Uncle Jed.
Too bad you can't move in and stay with us. It would be a joy and an honor.
Well, next time maybe. Well, glad to see you.
And remember, there is plenty more money where that come from whenever you need it.
Swell.
Little critters, you thank Honest John for saving your lives.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's get out of here, Jethro.
A shaft through the mountains to blow away the smog. That's beautiful, Shifty, beautiful. Where'd you stash the money?
Oh, I wish you could have been there to see me work, Flo. I've never been better.
I told you you could make a comeback, Chad. Where'd you stash the money?
I was brilliant. It was like taking candy away from a baby.
Where'd you stash the candy?
It was a classic cape. A textbook con job.
Where's the $500,000?
Don't worry about it.
I like to worry. Where is it?
I gave it back.
I didn't hear right. You didn't say I gave it back.
That's what I said. And that's what I did.
Come to my arms, baby.
I don't feel romantic right now, honey.
Neither do I. I'm gonna break every bone in your body.
They couldn't help myself. They were so trusting, so honest, so...
Oh, wait, that's
Flo! Flo! Flo!
Look at me, Flo! I'll slow you!
That's funny.
I don't care!
Flo!
Hold it!
I'll show you, Beverly. Get out of here, you crazy! Get out! Jed, ain't it a blessing to know that in a short time, all the smog in Los Angeles will be gone?
It is for a fact. And all thanks to Honest John Schaefer.
Wonder why nobody thought of his idea before.
It's simple enough. Just drill a big shaft through the mountain, put in a giant fan, and suck away all the smog.
Leave it to Honest John.
Of course, he said himself he feels kind of responsible for the smog.
Why?
Well, you see, the San Bernardino Mountains, that holds all the smog in what they call the Los Angeles Basin, belongs to Honest John.
Well, I'll be switched.
See, on his mother's side, he comes from an old Spanish family, the Bernardinos.
Well, there's one thing for sure. If Honest John says he's going to get rid of the smog, you can have confidence.
That's the truth. Well, even back in New York, the police said he's one of the greatest confidence men in the country.
The man's a living saint.
Ellie Mae, what are you doing with Honest John's money?
That's the $500,000 in cash your pa gave him to commence drilling.
I know, but Jethro said Honest John sent it back. He wouldn't keep it.
$500,000 in cash, in your hand, and you gave it back.
Flo, you don't know these people.
What's to know? They're rich. They're dumb. They're pigeons.
They're beautiful, Flo. Kind, trusting, sweet, simple, honest.
I warned you not to use that kind of language in front of me.
Let's face it. I'm a failure. If you want a divorce, I don't blame you.
Now, Shifty.
Look, I'm a lousy husband. When you needed me most, when you depended upon me, what did I do? I turned honest.
Anybody can slip.
You didn't, Flo. You haven't changed since the day I married you. You're still the same girl. Deceitful, crooked, sensational pickpocket, fabulous shoplifter, drive a great getaway car.
Maybe we could work together again. Team up like in the old days.
Would you, Flo? Please, you gotta help me rebuild my character.
It's hard to say no to you, Shifty.
Come on, baby. Let's seal it with a kiss. Put those purse-snatching arms around me, and let me feel those lying lips on mine.
Excuse me, Chief. Your real estate broker's here to see you.
Oh, good, good. Come in, Fred. You may go, Miss Hathaway. Mr. Drysdale, have you lost your mind buying all that land up in the San Bernardino Mountains?
Now listen, Fred. You may go, Miss Big Ears. Now listen, Fred, just follow instructions.
But you could bankrupt yourself buying all that wasteland. There's nothing up there except skunks, bobcats, and rattlesnakes.
On top, but underneath there's oil.
Oil? In the San Bernardino Mountains?
Do you want to start a land rush?
Well, what makes you think there's oil up there?
Have you ever heard of Jed Clampett?
Yeah.
Well, he found oil in the hills back at home, and now he's found oil in the hills out here.
Well, has he drilled a test well yet?
He doesn't have to. He shoots a bullet in the ground, and up comes the oil.
Well, if I were you, I'd get a geologist's report.
Nuts to that. Then everybody will get in on it. This is my oil field.
Yeah, but do you realize there's hundreds of thousands of acres up in the San Bernardino Mountains? You can't buy it all.
You're right. I'll have to pinpoint the drilling site. Miss Hathaway!
Yes?
I have a little detective job for you. Now, I want you to find out exactly where Jed Clampett and his mysterious partner plan to drill. Then I'll buy the land.
Chief, Mr. Clampett is your friend. Your largest depositor, your benefactor. How can you undercut him?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. How?
I refuse to take any part of your nefarious schemes.
Then you're fired.
I quit.
Oh, no, you don't. I fired you.
Very well, that way I get severance pay.
You're not fired. Now, quit.
On second thought, I think I'll stay around and see what happens.
Okay, and get up to the Clampers and find out where they're going to drill. There'll be a big, fat reward in it for you.
My reward will be seeing you get the reward you deserve for your greed and avarice.
Yeah, it should run into millions.
Say, Shifty, why do I have to wear this outfit?
Because I told the Clampetts my mother was Spanish.
Why can't I be your wife?
They don't think I'm married, and besides, they love you. They're big mother people.
Shifty, I don't even speak the language. What if they say something to me in Spanish?
Are you kidding? They can barely speak English. You're beautiful. Let's go. Ole! Is this beautiful? Is this a mansion? Is this a layout?
Vidal, there's a wall safe behind this mirror.
Forget it, Flo.
Just as I thought. Get me the sandpaper, baby.
Flo, forget it.
Well, I can crack it in 30 seconds. It's a coffee can.
Oh, you don't have to steal from these people. They give it to you. They force it on you. Now behave yourself or you'll blow the whole caper. You nut. What, you have it? Oh, dear friend. I have the honor and privilege of presenting my sainted mother, Ana Maria Fernandez Barcelona, San Bernardino y Schaefer.
Howdy, Sam.
It's pleasure to meet you.
Iguana.
She said the pleasure is hers. Iguana means pleasure in Spanish. Mother speaks almost no English.
Well, we'd be mighty iguana to have you all move in and stay a while.
He said, su povo de hacienda Cesar Romero la cucuracha la clampe. Iguana. His mother said.
Oh, we caught that. Ellie, show these folks the 2 nicest rooms in the house.
Sure will, Granny. Y'all follow me upstairs.
Fala, das pueblos al centro tequila, las clampets, Rio Grande.
Iguana.
Not only does she speak no English, she speaks very little Spanish.
It'd be a violation of any trust if you were to tell me where you plan to start to drill.
Well, like I told Mr. Drysdale, all I know is there's someplace in the San Bernardino Mountains.
Well, can't you localize it any more than that?
No, ma'am, I'm sorry. If I knowed any more, it'd be a real iguana to tell you.
A real what?
Iguana. It means pleasure. My partner's Spanish mama uses a lot of iguanas.
Aren't they members of the reptile family?
No, ma'am, there's Bernardinos on her side.
Well, Miss Jane,
Hello, Granny. Nice to see you.
the iguana is mine.
Granny and me is catching on to that Spanish real good.
Would you like to stay and have victuals with Jed's secret partner and his mama?
Granny, if Miss Jane met my secret partner, he wouldn't be secret no more.
True.
I'll do this for you, Miss Jane. I'll go ask him where in the mountains we're going to drill.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Clampett.
Come and sit down, Miss Jane.
Oh,
Ain't it exciting about the smog?
smog?
Ain't you heard? We's getting rid of it.
Wonderful. How?
Well, Jed and his secret partner is drilling a great big tunnel through the San Bernardino Mountains and gonna pull away the smog.
That's the drilling Mr. Clampett needed the money for?
He drew $500,000 out of Mr. Drysdale's bank.
No oil or anything like that, just a tunnel.
That's right.
Oh, that's marvelous. That is just marvelous.
Ain't it a great idea?
Well, it's interesting. I trust that Mr. Clampett's secret partner is a qualified engineer.
Oh, I don't think they's gonna run a train through the tunnel. Just smog.
Oh, this is beautiful. This is sublime justice. Greed and avarice will reap their just rewards, and I shall be there to see it.
Miss Jane, the drilling's going to be through San Gorgonio Mountain.
Mr. Clampett, you have made me the happiest woman in all the world. Bless you. Bless you.
What was that all about?
I told her we was getting rid of the smog.
Well, if it pleases the rest of the folks as much as it does her, Los Angeles is going to be one mighty happy town.
She did seem really guanted.
Keep your hands off that safe.
Don't get uptight. I just want to keep in practice.
Practice later. We can take these clowns for millions. Just... dear friend. Thank you for entering at this moment. You have just saved me from a terrible tongue lashing.
Who from?
Sierra Madre here, my blessed mother. When I told her I had refused the gift of money my host had so graciously offered me, her Spanish temper flared and she scolded me mercilessly. She said it was tacos. That means rude.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say you was tacos, but I think you ought to take the money.
Yeah, and it's still here, right out in the kitchen.
Tell your mama. That ought to make her happy.
Sierra Madre Escondido avocado a la kitchen.
Ah, tortilla.
That means marvelous.
Good. Let's go get it.
That's it. Good boy.
Ellie Mae, what are you doing?
I'm learning Virgil to put money in the bank.
Money?
Yes, sir, Mr. Honest John. Just watch him. He's real clever. Come on, Virgil.
Oh, coins. Beautiful. Very interesting.
Ellie Mae, that bird of yours didn't stuff $500,000 into something, did he?
No, sir, Pa.
Well, it's gone.
Oy vey.
Oy vey. That means unbelievable. Mother was referring to the trick that this bird just performed. Very oy vey.
But where is the money, Ellie?
Well, Jethro got the truck fixed, so he come in and got the money and went to look for Mr. Honest John.
Oy vey.
I think you'll find Jethro is the most oy vey boy that ever lived.
Well, y'all excuse us, because me and Virgil's going outside.
Well, don't worry, everybody. I'll just go down to Mr. Drysdale's bank and draw out another sack of money.
Tell your mama the good news.
Sierra Madre, Senor Clampett, Tijuana El Banco Escondido avocado.
Ah, tortilla.
Escondido avocado. That must mean money.
Exactly. Say, you're picking up the language beautifully.
Yeah, thank you. Would you and your mama like to come down to the bank with me?
Tortilla.
Buzz, el badjo, la pistola, reconocito, arresto, stupido.
Honest, John, I don't know what you're saying to your mama, but from the tone of your voice, it sounds real tacos.
Yes, I'm afraid I inherited a bit of her fiery Spanish temper. El forgivo, Sierra Madre.
Guadalajara.
Oh, that's one of the beautiful Spanish words. It literally means she loves me. She forgives me.
Mighty pretty language. Well, I'll go down and get all the Escondido avocado Mr. Drysdale's got.
I'll give him victuals, Jed.
Good, Granny. Y'all iguana yourselves.
Honest, John, ask your mama how she'd like some owl gizzards and some pickled skunk shanks.
El Hongrito?
Yuck.
Well, it loses something in the translation, but that means we're both on a diet.
Fred? Yeah, Mr. Drysdale. I've got it pinpointed. The drilling site. Mount San Gorgonio. There's no oil there. That's nothing but a great big pile of stone. What are you, a geologist or a real estate broker?
Well, we did a little better this time, Mr. Clampett. $700,000 in cash.
Thank you, Miss Jane.
Wait a minute. What's this for?
We needed to commence drilling.
Not on my land.
Whose land?
My land is your land.
It ain't my land, so it ain't your land either.
Oh, please, Mr. Clampett, don't start drilling yet.
Why not?
Well, it's the rainy season. You might get wet.
Dry as a bone out there.
Will you die of thirst?
Drysdale, I'm in a hurry. Now get off of my Escondido avocado.
No.
You're acting awful tacos. You should be more, tortilla.
Tortilla?
Yeah, it's a good thing Granny ain't here to see him.
I believe you're talking about a thin, crusty corn product.
That's Granny. Good thing she ain't here to see how you're acting. But anyway, I Guadalajara ya.
What are you reading, Honest John?
What? Oh, this is a travel folder, Grandy. I plan to take Mother on a trip as soon as we finish our caper.
Paper?
A Spanish delicacy made of wine and olives.
Well, I'm glad to hear that your appetite is coming back. I fetched you a whole basket full of goodies from my root cellar.
I'm really not hungry.
You will be when you know what I got. I got groundhog meatballs, beaver tail fried in possum fat, and a roast breast of buzzard.
Give you my word, I couldn't eat a bite.
Oh, I know what will tantalize that finicky appetite of yours. I'll fetch you some goat cheese.
No, thanks.
It won't take a minute. I got it in the wall safe in the front hall.
You keep it wet?
In the wall safe behind the mirror in the front hall.
And you keep goat cheese in it?
Well, I used to keep it in my root cellar, but the Board of Health made me take it out. The neighbors got to complaining. It's awful ripe.
Where's Flo?
Flo?
A Spanish term of endearment. I have many such for my mother.
Well, I don't know where your mama is.
I think I do. I knew you'd be here. Listen, I want Flo. Flo. What is it? Flo. Flo, what?
What happened to your mama?
She fainted. Very delicate lady. Spanish aristocracy.
I'll get my medical bag. I'm a doctor, you know.
Flo, come on, Flo. Hey, snap out of it. Flo!
I got something in here that'll fetch her around.
Wait a minute, what is it you're giving my mother? What?
Don't worry, it'll make her feel a guano.
Holy cow.
A very religious woman, my mother. You see, in Spain, the cow is sacred. The bulls, they don't treat too well. But...
Tell her to take it easy with that stuff, Honest John. That's for medicinal purposes only.
Well, here's your escondida avocado. What's the matter with your mama?
She fainted, but the doctor here revived her.
She's got thin Spanish blood, Jed. High-born, you know.
Well, here's $700,000 for you to commence drilling.
Beautiful. You're a beautiful man.
You're right, tortilla yourself.
Honest John, would you tell your mama that I'm going to take her outside for a breath of fresh air?
Sierra Madre, la gringo doctor, dobe, enchilada. We'll be on our way if you don't... Hey, it's heavy, isn't it?
Well, I'll have Jethro heft that on the truck for you quick as he gets home.
I don't think we better wait. You see, smog is getting worse, people are coughing. Time is of the essence. I'll call a cab. Okay, baby, here it is. Let's blow. Driver, give me a hand with the bag.
No! This belongs to the sweetest people in the whole world. And you're not going to take it from them.
Blow.
Sierra Madre to you.
Oh, boy.
Those sweet people in there never gave us anything but iguana. And now you want to be tacos. I'll never Guadalajara you again. You bum.
Are you folks still here?
Unfortunately.
Why's your mama crying?
Homesick. Homesick for the place of her birth.
Jersey City.
A quaint little hamlet nestled in the hills above Barcelona. Sierra Madre. El pronto el lembo, eh?
Don't forget your escondida avocado.
No escondido avocado.
What?
Oh, well, Mother's had a change of heart. She would not allow me to take your money.
Well, what about the smog?
Yeah, I'm going to keep working on that. Well, driver, let's go. Here we go. To the hills above Barcelona.
Oh, Jed, they forgot the money.
Sierra Madre wouldn't take it. She was awful homesick and anxious to get back to Spain and visit Jersey City.
That's sweet. Did you know that cows were sacred there?
In Jersey City?
All over Spain.
Well, doggy.
Yonder comes Miss Jane and Mr. Drysdale.
Howdy, folks. Too bad you didn't get here much sooner.
Yeah, You could have met Jed's partner in the Sierra Madre.
Sierra Madre is a mother mountain.
Well, she was kind of stout, but I wouldn't go that far.
Mr. Clampett, I have some news for you. I now own practically all of San Gorgonio Mountain.
Is that a fact?
Yes, he had to mortgage everything, even borrow money from several rival banks at 9% interest.
That's not important. The important thing is that if Mr. Clampett and his secret partner want to drill for oil, they have to lease the land from me.
We ain't gonna drill for oil.
You ain't?
They just drilling a great big tunnel through the mountain to suck out the smog.
Mom?
My best friend's medical bad. I think he's gonna faint.
Likely he's got thin blood, like Sierra Madre. Now, don't you worry. Granny will have you feeling iguana in no time.
Iguana is a great big lizard.
Oh, ma'am, it's a big pleasure.
Well, let me say it is a real iguana to see the chief in this condition.
Come and listen to a story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer who barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up came a sound from a bubbling crude. Oil, that is. Black gold. Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed is a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck, and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is. Swimming pools, movie stars. The Beverly Hillbillies. The morning sun was shining brightly over the grand mansion in Beverly Hills, but inside, a delightful commotion was already brewing. Ellie Mae was bouncing with excitement, her voice echoing through the long hallways as she called out to her cousin. I will tell him, Ellie, I seen him first, Jethro shouted back, trying to outrun her down the stairs. Ellie Mae turned around, her face flushed with enthusiasm as she disputed his claim, saying, You did not. I seen him first. The two young cousins kept arguing back and forth as they reached the grand living room, both filled with an overwhelming amount of joy and wonder. I seen him. I did, Ellie Mae insisted, clapping her hands together. Jed Clampett, the patriarch of the family, looked at his kinfolk with a gentle, patient smile on his face. Will one of you please tell me? Jed asked, his calm mountaineer voice cutting through the excitement. Jethro, eager to be the one to deliver the big news, looked at his cousin and said, I will toss you first. Ellie Mae raised her chin and replied, Don't you want? To which Jethro added, I will toss you. There. Now I get to tell. Just as the cousins were about to settle their friendly dispute, the bedroom door opened and Granny walked out, looking sharp and energetic as always. What is all the racket up here? Granny asked, looking around the room at the energetic young ones. Jed smiled at his mother-in-law and explained that Ellie was about to tell me who she had just seen. Granny adjusted her apron, her curiosity piqued immediately. Who, Ellie? She asked, leaning in closer. Ellie Mae grinned from ear to ear and shouted that it was the fellow that sold Paul Central Park. Honest John Schaefer. Well, doggy, Jed exclaimed, his eyes widening in pure amazement. You mean that Honest John is right here, in Beverly Hills? Granny could hardly believe her ears and replied, Yes, ma'am. The most exciting news of the whole year. She then glanced over at the comfortable sofa where Jethro had suddenly stretched out, taking a momentary rest from all the running. And that lummox lays there half asleep, Granny muttered, shaking her head. Get up, lazybones. Ellie just seen Honest John Schaefer. Jethro quickly sat up, rubbing his eyes and defending himself with a wide grin, saying, Granny, I seen him too. I was driving the truck. Jed leaned forward, highly interested in finding their old acquaintance. Did you stop and talk to him? Jed asked. Jethro shook his head and said, No, sir, we didn't. Ellie Mae chimed in, explaining that no, we couldn't. We didn't. You tell him, Ellie. Jethro nodded, waving his hand to let his cousin take the lead, saying, No more tossing. Ellie Mae explained that they couldn't stop on account of the traffic. And by the time we drove around the block, he was gone. Jed stood up, feeling a deep sense of loyalty and affection for the man who had shown them such remarkable hospitality back in New York. We've got to find him, Jed said firmly. That is the truth. Finest man I ever run into. Granny nodded in complete agreement, her respect for the gentleman shining through her words. Salt of the earth, she said. He sure deserves that name, Honest John. Jed smiled warmly as he recalled their previous business dealings, remembering how he sold me Central Park, Statue of Liberty, Staten Island Ferry, Brooklyn Bridge, Empire State Building, and the Algonquin Hotel, all for $10,000. To the honest, sweet-natured hillbillies, this was the ultimate gesture of friendship. That is what I call a real bargain, Jed continued, his heart filled with gratitude. Then he turned around and gave you your money back. Jed closed his eyes for a second, fondly remembering their parting moments in the bustling city of New York. What we were trying to say, Honest John, is that you are just about the nicest fellow we ever met, Jed had told him back then. We are proud to know you. Honest John, whose real name was Shifty, had looked around at the time, feeling a bit overwhelmed by their pure, unadulterated kindness, and had replied, "Well, I got to get going." Jed had said, "Well, so long," but then noticed his mother-in-law rushing toward them. "Oh, wait," Jed had called out. "Here comes Granny. She will want to tell you goodbye." Granny had come running up, her face filled with genuine sorrow at the departure of such a wonderful man. "Goodbye," Granny had asked. "Is Honest John leaving?" Jed had nodded and told her, "Yeah, Granny. He has got to go to Chicago." Granny had looked at the elegant gentleman and said, "Oh, I am sorry. It has been so nice knowing you. Take care of yourself, young fellow." Honest John had tipped his hat, feeling a strange warmth in his heart that he was not used to, and replied, Yeah, I will as well. Well, so long." Granny had waved her handkerchief, calling out, "God bless you, son." In that unforgettable moment, Honest John had looked at the stack of money in his hands, completely disarmed by the family's boundless generosity and innocence. "Look, folks, I got no use for this money," he had said, pushing the cash back into Jed's hands. "I mean, what is a few thousand for somebody like me? I am loaded." Jed, always believing the absolute best in human nature, had accepted the money back, thinking it was an act of pure philanthropy. "I got plenty myself," Jed had thought, while Honest John added, "Give it to the Indians at the Algonquin." Watching him walk away, Granny had sighed with deep admiration, declaring that he is one of nature's noblemen. Back in the present day in Beverly Hills, Jed walked over to the large window, looking out over the beautiful neighborhood. "Well, at least twice we know he is here in Beverly Hills," Jed said thoughtfully. "I sure wish we knew where." Meanwhile, in a completely different part of town, inside a secluded apartment, a woman named Flo Schaefer was sitting down, listening to a sudden knock on the door. A voice from outside called out, asking, "What do you want?" Flo, playing along with her usual sharp wit, shouted back through the closed door, "I am looking for Flo Schaefer. She moved to Australia." The man outside chuckled and replied, "Flo, it is me, Shifty." Flo's eyes lit up with recognition and excitement. She quickly unlocked the door, throwing it open to reveal her partner in crime. "Shifty, baby," she cried out happily.
"Oh, son.
What is the matter? Has the police got a tail on you?" Shifty stepped inside quickly, looking over his shoulder as he closed the door. "No," he replied, taking off his hat.
Just a force of habit."
Flo laughed, feeling a sense of comfort in his familiar presence. "Ah," she said, leaning in. "Gee, it is good to see you again, you floozy," Shifty said with a smirk, using their usual playful banter. Flo rolled her eyes affectionately and countered, "It is good to see you, you louse." As she looked down at his hand, she noticed something missing. "Wedding ring?" she asked, her voice dropping. "It is gone? You finally got a divorce, oh well. I cannot blame you." Shifty gasped dramatically, putting a hand over his heart. "Are you kidding?" he asked. "Me divorce you? Never. I love you." Flo smiled, but her sharp mind immediately went to the practical side of things. "Well, where's the ring?" she questioned. Shifty shrugged his shoulders casually and answered, "I hawked it." Flo raised an eyebrow, curious about the profit. "What did you get?" she asked. $10, Shifty replied smoothly. Flo chuckled, shaking her head. "Well, it is a clear profit," she admitted. Shifty grinned and whispered, "I stole it." Flo felt a wave of nostalgia washing over her as she looked at him. "Oh, Shifty," she said softly. "We were such a great team. What split us up?" Shifty sighed, leaning against the table, and said, "Your mother." Flo waved her hand dismissively and asked, "Where's the old bat?" Shifty winced slightly, trying to soften the blow. "Please, honey," he said gently. "Mother is gone." Flo looked genuinely surprised and a little remorseful. "Oh, I am sorry," she said. Shifty shook his head and clarified with a small laugh, "It is okay. She will be out in 6 months." Shifty then took a deep breath, his expression becoming uncharacteristically serious. "Look, honey," he said, gesturing toward the chairs.
"Sit down."
"Something I gotta tell you. I don't know how you are gonna take it." Flo sat down, her instincts telling her that something was completely different about her partner. "Sounds serious," she remarked. Shifty nodded slowly, looking down at his hands. "It is," he confessed. "It is the toughest confession I ever had to make. And I know you are going to hate me." Flo reached out, her heart warming up for him. "Shifty, I couldn't ever hate you," she said reassuringly. She began to guess what could possibly be troubling him so deeply. "So you met a younger, prettier girl," she suggested. "You married her. You are a bigamist. So what? I forgive you." Shifty looked up, shaking his head rapidly.
"No," he said.
Flo frowned, guessing again. "You didn't marry the girl," she said, her voice rising slightly. "That is even worse."
"Don't worry about it."
"I still love you." Shifty sighed heavily and said, "That is not it." Flo leaned forward, trying to think of the most extreme scenario for a seasoned con man.
"You have joined a mob," she guessed.
"Gambling, girls, dope, rackets, everything." "Relax, you are still my man." Shifty groaned, burying his face in his hands. "That isn't it, honey," he muttered. Flo was losing her patience, her curiosity taking over completely. "Then what?" she demanded.
"Tell, baby."
Shifty looked her dead in the eye, his voice trembling with a mixture of shame and relief. "Flo," he whispered, "I have gone straight. I have turned honest." Flo froze, her jaw dropping in absolute horror. The words felt like a betrayal to everything they had ever built together. "You dirty rat," she screamed, jumping up from her chair. "Don't you touch me, you rat, you swine." Shifty tried to reach out to calm her down, saying, "Baby, you don't." But Flo backed away, her face red with anger. "Now I want a divorce," she declared loudly. "You will just be glad that Mother isn't here. She would beat you to a pulp." Shifty pleaded with his arms wide open, begging for a chance to explain this strange transformation. "Well, let me at least tell you how it happened," he begged. "What turned me honest?" Flo covered her ears, refusing to accept this new reality. "I don't want to hear that kind of talk," she shouted. "Makes my flesh crawl. Get out. Angel, get out. I cannot stand the sight of you." Shifty looked completely defeated, his shoulders slumping. "Oh, please," he whimpered. "None of my friends will speak to me since I have turned honest." Flo crossed her arms, showing absolutely no sympathy. "Who can blame them?" she retorted. "You're sick." Shifty nodded miserably, accepting her diagnosis. "I know it, baby, and I need help," he admitted. Flo sighed, looking at him with a mixture of pity and frustration. "Go to a head shrinker," she suggested. Shifty blinked, confused by the advice. "What?" he asked. "Can I go to a head shrinker and say, 'Make me a crook'?" Flo thought about it for a second, realizing the absurdity of the situation. "Yeah," she answered. "Yeah, I guess you are right. Maybe I can help you shake off this terrible hang-up." Shifty's eyes filled with hope as he looked at his clever wife. "I know you can, dear," he said with absolute sincerity. "I know you can, because you are so completely rotten." Flo took it as the highest compliment, smiling warmly and saying, "Thanks, Dolph. Yours did have a way with words." Back at the Clampett estate, the family was still discussing their beloved friend, completely unaware of his true profession or his current moral dilemma. Jed sat in his favorite rocking chair, smoking his pipe contentedly. "Sure hope they find Honest John," Jed said to the room, "and fetch him home to stay with us." Granny nodded vigorously as she swept the floor. "The honor to have a man like that under our roof," she said proudly. "He is a living saint." Jed smiled, adding, "I hope he ain't forgot about it." Meanwhile, back at the apartment, Shifty was trying to explain to Flo exactly how the Clampett family had managed to completely disarm his criminal instincts. They were rogues, hicks, yokels, pigeons to be plucked, Shifty explained, his voice filled with a strange kind of awe. And millionaires. It was beautiful. The perfect setup. For openers. I sold them Central Park. Flo looked at him, surprised despite herself. You are kidding, she said. Shifty shook his head, remembering the scene perfectly. And collected the money in cash, he continued. Right there in the pond. He recalled how Jed had looked at the water in Central Park, completely amazed by his new purchase. Well, doggy, there's some big ones in there, Jed had said, looking at the fish.
What? 1, 2,
3,
4, 5.
And I still got me some walking around money. Honest John had smiled back then, playing his role perfectly, saying, well, what do you say we get up and walk around a little? Shifty turned back to Flo, his voice filled with dramatic flair as he described his success. Before I was through, I sold them half of New York, he said. Had the dough in my pocket and a plane ticket to Chicago. Flo frowned, asking, so what happened? Shifty sighed deeply, a look of pure defeat washing over his face. They got to me, he admitted. Flo was baffled. How? She asked. Shifty shook his head, his voice cracking with emotion. Well, they're so kind, so sweet, so trusting, so honest, so sincere. Flo slammed her hand on the table, unable to listen to any more praise of virtue. Stop that kind of talk, she ordered. That is disgusting. But anyway, Shifty continued defensively, that is when I went wrong. Flo walked over to him, placing her hands on his shoulders, determined to cure her husband of this terrible affliction of honesty. Honey, there is only one way to cure your sickness, she said firmly. You got to find those Hillbillies and take them. Shifty shook his head fearfully, remembering the overwhelming goodness of the Clampett family. I am no match for them, Flo, he protested. They are too honorable, too loving, too warm, too tender. Generous, trusting. Flo groaned loudly, covering her ears again. Not again, she complained. I am going to make you wash your mouth out with soap. Shifty looked down, feeling his confidence waver. Maybe I can con somebody else, but he started to say. Flo interrupted him immediately, her eyes flashing with determination. It has got to be those Hillbillies, she insisted. As my father used to say, if you fall off a horse, you got to get back on and ride that same horse again. And he should know. He was the greatest jockey ever to throw a race. Now, hop on a plane, go to New York, and do as I tell you. Shifty hesitated, thinking about the logistical details. Okay, he said slowly. If I wait a minute. They're here. They live here. Flo gasped, her eyes widening in delight. In Beverly Hills, she asked. Shifty nodded, saying yeah. Flo clapped her hands together, a brilliant, devious plan forming in her mind. Oh, great, she exclaimed. Find them, fool them, fleece them, and forget them. Shifty stood up straight, feeling the old criminal spark reigniting inside him, fueled by his desire to make his wife proud. I will do it for you, Flo, he promised, his voice growing stronger. I will lie, I will cheat, I will steal, I will con them out of every penny they got. Flo smiled proudly, nodding her approval. That is the way to talk, champ, she encouraged. Shifty puffed out his chest, determined to prove that he was still the slickest con man in the business. You know what I will do, he declared. I will show them no mercy. I will be cruel, ruthless. I will leave them starving and destitute. I will destroy them. I will be an absolute beast. Flo looked at him with absolute adoration, melting at his newfound ruthlessness. How can you help but love a doll like that? She whispered to herself. Just then, Shifty reached into his pocket and pulled out a glittering object, presenting it to her with a flourish. You know why I am back? He asked with a grin. Just made my first heist. Flo gasped in delightful surprise as she looked at the sparkling jewelry. Oh, wonderful, she cried out. Who is your clip? Shifty smirked and pointed directly at her, saying you. Here is your necklace. Flo laughed heartily, taking the necklace and holding it up against her neck. Oh, beautiful shifting, she said, admiring his skill. Isn't that great? Beautiful. Shifty reached into his other pocket and pulled out a matching pair of earrings, slipping them away as he said, "The earrings I will keep." Back at the Grand Clampett mansion, Jed and Granny were in the sitting room, preparing for the eventual arrival of their esteemed friend. "Did the young ones fetch Honest John home?" Granny asked, looking up from her knitting. Jed shook his head slowly, looking out the front door. "Not yet," he replied. "But I see you are ready for him." Granny smiled, smoothing down her finest dress. "Well, he always did admire my appearance, Jed," she said with a touch of vanity. "Couldn't get over how young I looked." Jed nodded, his respect for the man unchanged. "He was well named Honest John," Jed said. "I just thought of an idea of how we might get in touch with him." Granny looked up, highly interested.
"Good," she said.
Jed leaned forward, explaining his logic. "Remember what close friends he was with the New York police," Jed reminded her. "They met him at the airport and took him to the station to visit with him. And they fetched him Central Park in their own car." Jed fondly remembered the conversation they had overheard between Honest John and the officers. "Remember, we are giving you 24 hours, the policeman had said. Honest John had waved cheerfully, replying, "So long, pals."
"Call me anytime."
"Thanks for the lift." Jed had stepped forward, greeting him warmly, saying, "Glad to see you, Mr. Clampett." Jed, being naturally curious but polite, had asked about the strange comment, saying, "What did that policeman mean?" Honest John had hesitated for a fraction of a second, asking, "What did you hear?" Jed had replied, "Well, he said they were going to give you 24 hours. Honest John had laughed it off smoothly, explaining that, yes. But it is the ordinary. New York closes promptly at 9 p.m. lights out. Well, due to my influence, I have persuaded the police to leave the city open for 24 hours so that you may see it at night." Jed had been completely blown away by his friend's immense power and influence, asking, "Is that a fact?" Honest John had nodded grandly, listing the sights, saying, "Times Square, Broadway, 42nd Street. All the famous thoroughfares will be lit up just for you." Jed turned back to Granny, his face full of wonder as he recalled that beautiful night. "He sure kept his promise," Jed said with deep feeling. "That night when we flew out of New York, I never seen so many bright lights in my born day. That is how I plan to locate him. If he is that friendly with the New York police, chances are he has got some friends in uniform out here." Granny nodded, highly impressed by Jed's analytical thinking.
"Good thinking, Jim," she said.
"So," Jed continued, standing up and walking toward the telephone, "I am going to call the station and ask them, have they seen Honest John Schaefer?" Before Jed could even pick up the receiver, the grand front doors opened, and in walked the man of the hour himself, looking immaculate in his suit. "Honest John," a voice called out in excitement. Shifty looked around, adjusting his hat, and saw Granny rushing toward him. "Ellie Mae," he greeted smoothly, intentionally flattering her. Granny stopped in her tracks, blushing furiously but correcting him with a delighted giggle. "I am not Ellie Mae," she said. "I am Granny." Shifty feigned absolute amazement, looking at her closely. "Oh, I will have to take your word for it," he said with a charming smile. "To me, you are identical twins." Granny patted her hair, completely charmed, saying, "Oh, yeah." Jed stepped forward, extending his hand with genuine warmth.
"It is good to see you," Jed said.
"Well, Honest John, this is a great pleasure." Shifty shook his hand firmly, putting on his best benevolent persona. "The pleasure is mine, dear friend," Shifty replied. "How often I thought of those wonderful times we had together in New York." Jed looked at him, a slight look of guilt clouding his honest face. "You know, I still feel bad about you giving the money back for all that real estate that we bought from you," Jed admitted. Shifty waved his hand dismissively, acting as though thousands of dollars were nothing but pocket change. "Tut, tut, forget it," Shifty said grandly. "Our friendship transcends mere money." Jed's heart swelled with appreciation at such noble words. "Well, that may well be," Jed said, reaching into his pocket, "but I would like you to have." Before Jed could finish a sentence, Shifty suddenly froze, patting his pockets with a look of mock panic on his face. "Something wrong, kid?" Jed asked, instantly concerned. Shifty groaned dramatically, crying out, I lost my walking around money. Granny, who had been watching the exchange, suddenly remembered something she had spotted earlier on her way inside. Could this be it? She asked, pulling a small bundle from her apron pocket. Shifty looked at it, pretending to be utterly confused, and asked, "Where did you get that?" Granny smiled warmly and explained, "I found it outside on the stoop." Shifty blinked, playing the sophisticated city man who didn't understand country terms, and asked, "Oh, is that your back?" Jed laughed gently, correcting him. No, dear friend, I meant the little porch out front. Doggies, I must have lost it when I was out there pumping my grinding wheel. Well, here you are, safe and sound." Jed handed the money back to Shifty, looking at him with immense respect. "Anybody but Honest John would have kept it," Jed stated firmly. Granny nodded, adding, "That is a truth. Matter of fact, I would like him to keep it." Shifty, playing his role of the ultimate altruist, pushed the money back, saying, "I wouldn't think of it, dear friend." Jed looked at the money, then at Shifty, feeling that justice must be served. "Well, then, by rights, Central Park and all them other things still belong to you," Jed reasoned. Shifty smiled a saintly smile, looking up at the ceiling as if contemplating the greater good of humanity. "Oh, well, I will donate that to the city of New York so that everyone may enjoy them free," Shifty declared magnanimously. Jed turned to Granny, his eyes shining with admiration. "You hear that, Granny?" Jed asked. "The man has got a heart as big as all our dollars." Shifty smiled, deciding it was the perfect moment to present his little token of appreciation to further cement their trust. "Which reminds me," Shifty said smoothly, reaching into his vest pocket, "I bought you a little gift." He pulled out the sparkling earrings he had kept from his earlier heist and handed them to Granny. "Oh, Jed, look," Granny gasped, her hands trembling with delight as she held the jewelry. "Beautiful earrings." Shifty lowered his head respectfully and whispered, "They belong to my mother." Jed looked at the gesture, deeply moved by the emotional weight of the gift. "That is paying you a great honor, Granny," Jed said softly. Granny felt a tear form in her eye, overwhelmed by the kindness of this living saint. "I am afraid I am going to bawl," she admitted, sniffing. Shifty quickly stepped forward, raising his hands in a cheerful gesture, saying, "No tears. This is a happy occasion, a joyous reunion." Granny wiped her eyes, cracking a wide smile. "You are right," she agreed. "I will go out to the kitchen and put on some coffee." She scurried away happily, eager to serve their wonderful guest. Once Granny was in the kitchen, Jed sat down with Shifty, ready to talk about business and life. "All right," Jed said comfortably. "Well, Honest John, what brings you to Los Angeles?" Shifty assumed a deeply serious, professional expression, leaning forward with an air of profound responsibility. "I am here to perform a service for humanity," Shifty announced solemnly. Jed nodded, completely believing him, and said, "Well, that figures, but what is it?" Shifty looked out the window, pointing toward the hazy horizon. "Mr. Clampett, what would you say is the greatest problem facing the citizens of this community?" Shifty asked rhetorically. Jed didn't even have to think twice about it. "Well, I would have to say it was the smog," Jed answered honestly. Shifty snapped his fingers, pointing at Jed as if he had just unlocked the secret to the universe. "The smog," Shifty echoed. "Precisely why I am here. The smog. You like it?" Jed shook his head emphatically, saying, "Oh no." Shifty smiled, leaning in closer to reveal his grand, fabricated plan. "I have a plan to get rid of it," Shifty whispered. Jed's face lit up with pure joy. "Well, that sure would be a great blessing," Jed remarked. Shifty nodded grandly, explaining the details of his imaginary engineering marvel. "Well, I plan to drill an enormous shaft through the San Bernardino Mountains, install a huge fan, and draw the smog away," Shifty explained with absolute confidence. Jed looked at him, impressed by the scale of the project but also aware of the financial reality. "That is likely to cost a heap of money," Jed noted. Shifty sighed dramatically, looking like a martyr carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. "Yeah, I have pledged my wealth, my sacred honor to the completion of this humanitarian project," Shifty said. Jed smiled proudly, saying, "And if I know you, you will haul off and give the whole thing to the city of Los Angeles." Shifty chuckled softly, playing along, saying, "Well, I plan to spread it around. Los Angeles will get the mountains. Burbank and Pasadena will get the giant van." Jed was fascinated by the generosity of the plan and asked, "Who is going to get the share?" Just then, Granny walked back into the room carrying a fresh pot of coffee, having caught the tail end of the conversation. "Glad you asked me," Granny chimed in happily, setting the tray down. "Wouldn't you know that this blessed saint of a man sitting here is the man that is going to get rid of the smog for us?" She turned to Shifty, her face full of concern. "Isn't it going to cost you a fortune to drill that big hole through the mountain?" she asked. Shifty sighed, looking down at his polished shoes. "Well, the fan alone took all of my cash resources," Shifty lamented, "but I will raise more." Granny immediately turned to Jed, gesturing wildly. "Why don't you let me chip in some?" she suggested to Jed, before turning back to Shifty to brag about her son-in-law's immense wealth. "Jed has got better than 90 million laying in the bank," Granny revealed proudly. Shifty's eyes widened for a split second at the mention of $90 million, but he quickly covered his greed with a display of fierce independence and false pride. "No, no, no, please," Shifty protested, waving his hands frantically. "I will raise the money. I will sell my war medals, my Nobel Peace Prize." He paused, looking incredibly pathetic as he added, "As a last resort, I could always get $20 a pint for my blood." Jed's heart practically broke at the thought of this noble gentleman selling his own blood for the public good. "I cannot let you do that, can I?" Jed said firmly, his country's sense of honor kicking in. Granny agreed completely, pleading with Shifty, saying, "Please, let Jed help you." Shifty looked down, biting his lip as if undergoing a massive internal struggle. "I do hate to part with my war medals," Shifty muttered softly. Jed stood up, ready to take action. "What do you figure it will cost to finish up the job?" Jed asked. Shifty calculated quickly in his mind, throwing out a massive number just to see how far he could push his luck. 15, 20 million, Shifty answered smoothly. Jed didn't even blink at the astronomical amount. "I will just call Mr. Dreiser," Jed said calmly, referring to his trusted banker. "He will have him write you out a check for 20 million. Shifty froze, his con man instinct screaming in alarm. A check meant paper trails, banks, and signatures, all of which were a nightmare for a man with his history. "No checks," Shifty interrupted quickly, his voice a bit too sharp. Jed looked at him, confused by the sudden refusal. "Why not?" Jed asked. Shifty quickly recovered his composure, putting on a gentle, philosophical smile. "Well, names must appear on checks," Shifty explained beautifully, "and people find out who their benefactor is, and charity is only beautiful when it's anonymous." Granny blinked, unfamiliar with the big word, and asked, "Anon what?" Shifty smiled patiently and clarified, "Anonymous, unknown. That is why I am financing this entire project in cash." Jed scratched his chin, understanding the sentiment, but realizing the practical difficulty. "Well, I know from experience that Mr. Dreiser don't keep 20 million in cash in his bank," Jed said thoughtfully, "but I will get you what he has got." Shifty tried to play hard to get, shaking his head and saying, "No, no, please forget it. He will ask questions. You'll have to tell him what it's for. The secret will be out, and the whole project will lose its charm and beauty." Jed chuckled, his independent mountaineer spirit showing through. "I don't have to tell him nothing," Jed stated proudly. "It is my money." Shifty looked at him, pretending to be completely overwhelmed by Jed's stubborn generosity. "You do make it hard for me to say no," Shifty admitted with a sigh. Jed smiled warmly, walking toward the door, and said, "I won't take no for an answer. You wait right here. I will be back in a flash with the cash." A short while later, across town at the Commerce Bank of Beverly Hills, Milburn Dreiser, the bank president, was staring in absolute disbelief at the massive stack of paper currency sitting on his desk. His loyal secretary, Miss Jane Hathaway, stood beside him, holding a large canvas sack. "Well, here it is, Mr. Claver," Miss Jane said, addressing Jed with her usual utmost professional respect. "This is all the cash in the bank that can be spared at this time. It is more than $500,000. Jed smiled warmly, taking the heavy sack from her. Thank you, Miss Dean, Jed said, accidentally mispronouncing her name as he often did in his charming way. I reckon I ought to get us started. Mr. Dreiser jumped up from his chair, his blood pressure rising rapidly at the thought of so much cash leaving his vault without any clear explanation. Us, Mr. Dreiser stammered, his hands shaking. What us? Who is us? Jed looked at the banker, feeling bound by his promise to Honest John. Sorry, Mr. Dreiser, Jed said apologetically. I just cannot tell you. Mr. Dreiser clutched his chest, pleading with his wealthiest client. Well, at least you can tell me what you're going to do with it, Mr. Dreiser begged. Jed shook his head firmly, saying, I'd explain to you this is a secret project. Mr. Dreiser turned to Miss Jane, looking completely frantic, shouting, Mr. Dreiser, you don't behave like that. Unless you tell me what I am supposed to do with it. Tell me what it's for. You are not taking 1 penny of my money. Miss Jane stepped in immediately, defending Jed's rights as a depositor while maintaining her professional composure. This is Mr. Claver's money, Miss Jane reminded her boss firmly. He has a right to withdraw it. Mr. Dreiser groaned, pacing back and forth behind his desk. Well, yes, he admitted, but make him tell me what he's going to do with it, please. Miss Jane turned to Jed, offering a gentle compromise to ease the banker's immense anxiety. Mr. Claver, perhaps you could tell him just enough to alleviate his suffering, Miss Jane suggested kindly. I am afraid he is having acute withdrawal symptoms. Jed looked at the suffering banker and decided that a tiny hint wouldn't hurt the anonymity of the project. Well, I reckon it wouldn't do no harm to say that this money is going to be used for drilling, Jed allowed. Mr. Dreiser's eyes lit up instantly, his mind immediately jumping to oil. Drilling, Mr. Dreiser gasped, leaning over the desk. Where? Jed quickly closed the sack, realizing he had almost said too much. I don't believe I better say no more, Jed said politely. Mr. Dreiser slammed his hands down, desperate for more information. Then I am not letting you go, he declared wildly. Insane. Miss Jane frowned at her boss, reminding him of his professional duties. Mr. Dreiser, you promised to keep it an absolute secret, she reminded him. Mr. Dreiser sighed heavily, deflating into his chair as he muttered, May interest rates drop. Miss Jane turned back to Jed, explaining with a smile, For him, that is a sacred oath. Jed nodded, accepting the banker's word. All right, Jed said, offering one last piece of information to fully satisfy them. It is the San Bernardino Mountains, and that is all I am going to say. As Jed walked out of the bank with the heavy sack of cash, Mr. Dreiser stared at the door, his mind racing with wild financial calculations. That old mountain gold has found all again, Mr. Dreiser whispered in awe, assuming Jed had discovered another massive oil reserve or gold mine in the mountains. He grabbed his telephone receiver frantically, shouting to his secretary, Call my real estate broker. How did you dart buying up the San Bernardino Mountains? Back at the Clampett mansion, Shifty was waiting in the living room, trying to keep his composure while Granny poured him another cup of coffee. Miss Jane says there is better than $500,000 in there, Granny remarked, talking about the money Jed was fetching. Of course, I ain't candid. Who cares? If we cannot trust one another, where is the joy of life? Just then, the front door burst open and Jethro came rushing in, looking incredibly proud of himself. Mr. Schleicher, Jethro shouted happily, mispronouncing Shifty's alias. Granny looked at her grandson, highly impressed by his sudden arrival. See, Granny, Jethro said proudly, turning to her. I told you I could bomb him with brainwaves and ESP him here. Shifty smiled grandly, standing up to greet the large young man. Hiya, Jethro, Shifty said smoothly. Jethro stepped forward and grabbed Shifty's hand, giving it a massive, bone-crushing squeeze. Gee, isn't it good to shake your hand again? Jethro bellowed with pure joy. Shifty winced in immense pain, trying to pull his hand back as he remarked, I see you still have the grip of a gorilla. Jethro laughed heartily, completely missing the sarcasm, and replied, Yeah, but our brains ain't the same. Shifty smiled quickly, recovering his professional composure, and said, Oh, that is all right, Jethro. Yours will do. Just at that moment, Jed walked through the door, carrying the heavy canvas sack filled to the brim with cash. "Well, we must be all friends," Jed said happily, setting the heavy bag down on the table. Jethro looked at the bag with wide, curious eyes and asked, "What is in the sack?" Jed smiled proudly and answered, "Better than $500,000 in cash. And you know what Honest John is going to do with it? He is going to commence getting rid of our smog." Jethro clapped his hands together, letting out a loud cheer. "Hey, that is great," Jethro shouted. "Isn't that wonderful?" Granny wiped a tear of joy from her cheek, her heart overflowing with gratitude for their guest. "There is only one way to put it," Granny said softly. "The man is a living saint. Bless you, Honest John. And thank you for saving all the little critters and birds." Ellie Mae, who had just walked into the room, joined in the praise, her face shining with genuine gratitude. "And thank you for saving the young ones and old folks who couldn't hardly breathe no more," Ellie Mae added softly. Granny nodded vigorously, pointing toward the garden outside. "And the trees and the flowers are dying of air pollution," Granny noted. "They thank you, too." Shifty looked around at the sweet, innocent faces of the entire family, all of them looking at him with absolute reverence and love. He felt a massive wave of guilt washing over him, completely disarming his cynical, criminal mind. Well, Shifty stammered, feeling completely unworthy of their praise. "Tell them they are welcome." He grabbed the sack of money, suddenly feeling a desperate need to escape their overwhelming goodness before he broke down completely. "Well, I will be gone now," Shifty said quickly. Jed turned to Jethro, gesturing toward the heavy bag. "Jethro, hit that money on the truck and take Honest John wherever he wants to go," Jed ordered. Jethro saluted proudly, shouting, "Yes, sir, Uncle Ted." Jed looked at Shifty, wishing they could spend more time together. "Too bad you cannot move in and stay with us," Jed said with absolute sincerity. "It would be a joy and an honor." Shifty offered a weak, emotional smile and replied, "Well, next time, maybe well." Jed shook his hand one last time, saying, "Glad to see you. And remember, there is plenty more money where that come from whenever you need it." Shifty felt his throat tighten at the boundless generosity, swallowing hard as he managed to say, "Swell." As they walked out toward the truck, Ellie Mae waved to the open air, calling out to the nature she loved so dearly. "Little critters, you thank Honest John for saving your lives," she shouted happily. Shifty, feeling completely overwhelmed by the pure, unadulterated goodness of the family, whispered under his breath toward the trees, "You are welcome. You are welcome." He then climbed into the truck next to Jethro, urging him quickly, saying, "Let's get out of here, Jethro." A short while later, back at the secluded apartment, Flo was pacing back and forth, waiting anxiously for her husband's return. When Shifty finally walked through the door, carrying the heavy canvas